Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. We're back for Thursday, Papa Dude, and you have got you're the big dog right now at Racing Dudes. You lead the bracket pool right now. How's it feel? You said you're going to suck. You didn't. You did well.
This is the best bracket I've ever had in all of the years I've ever done one.
Yep.
Because form kind of held up this time.
It did, yeah.
And when you bet or pick the way I do, which is common sense, it actually worked out this year. And normally it doesn't. But yeah, and I made a few adjustments that worked out too after we had the show the other day. I kind of changed a couple of things, which kind of worked out in my favor as well. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Some crazy stuff's got to happen, you would think.
It's been a fairly boring tournament, I would say.
It really has. If you look for upsets, yes.
Even if you look for games that have been decent, like I'm not saying the games have been bad, but they haven't. We haven't seen like that classic game yet. I feel like
no, we haven't. But we've got some matchups that could. I think we've got some good ones ahead of us. When's the last time 13 of the top 16 seeds made it to the Sweet 16? I can't remember the last time.
Yeah, it hasn't been madness, that's for sure. This is not our normal March Madness. That is
no. When your number one underdog left is Arkansas, which traditionally plays pretty well in this tournament.
Yeah.
And hats off to Shoddy. I'm sure they're all excited down in that area for the Razorbacks. They're playing really well.
Yeah.
That's not really an underdog. We don't have any no names in this tournament, and I think that's what everybody looks for. But the studs are still there, so that could lead to some classic games.
The big schools are there, and it should be a good starting tonight all the way through the weekend. We should have some great games. But yeah, it seemed like a lot of kind of mismatches. I know Drake won one game, and so there was, and like I said, Arkansas does get the 2 wins there. That big win over St. John's is the biggest upset of the tournament, in my opinion. But yeah, it was few and far between. I heard some discussion that maybe the transfer portal has kind of caused some of this to where
you could be right.
Yeah, where a kid has, or two maybe, have a good year at a smaller school, and instead of staying and kind of they build on that, they leave. And I don't know if that's going to be a factor or not. We'll have to. I mean, we need more data points, but
yes,
it should be something. Yeah,
I saw a list somewhere. I don't remember where it was, of the 16 schools left and where their players came from.
Yeah,
and only Michigan State, they have 4 starters that have been there. I think Duke had 3. And there may have been another one. I don't know. But the most of them, they were from everywhere. They had transferred in there from everywhere. So that is a valid point for sure, that the smaller schools lose those studs. They go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's getting bad. It's bad at every level as far as that is concerned as well. I know it's seeping into the Division II level as well.
Oh, it is.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy what's going on. It's
crazy. Another thing, we follow Oklahoma. Arguably the best player on Kentucky was at Oklahoma last year, and one of the studs at Houston. Played at Oklahoma last year too. So OU wins 20 games this year. Think what they would have done if they had those other. Well, they would have beat Kentucky twice because he beat us pretty much single-handedly both times we played him.
That's right.
So, they're all sitting around criticizing Porter Moser and all this. The coach at OU, he's done a pretty good job of finding players every year.
Well, he was open for the first time. I mean, I'm sure behind closed doors he's been saying this for a while, but he was open for the first time to the actual media. Is like, we need more NIL. Period. Well, we need more NIL, or we're never going to get there. So
I think another interesting thing too, Aaron. Did you see that the women at OU got the number 1 high school recruit in the country, who's supposed to be another Caitlin Clark?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, they must have came up with some NIL money somewhere, don't you think?
They were explaining that the women's part of it is funded from different people versus the
Okay.
men's part
Okay.
of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
in this time of change in athletics, the women's programs in Oklahoma have survived and the men's
Yeah.
or I should say have thrived, and the men
Yes,
just kind of going backwards. So it's
that's
interesting
right.
to see that. But
That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, big times in the Oklahoma women, obviously in the Sweet 16 as well, took care of
Yeah.
business. So that's good as well. So
You bet.
all right, well, let's get to it. We're going to talk about the Sweet 16 in just a second. Let's start off with Derby talk here. I'm going to put it up on the screen now. We're going to start with the Arkansas Derby, of course, near and dear to our hearts. I was thinking about it today.
Mhm.
I was going to ask you this right off the bat. What's your favorite Arkansas Derby?
Ooh, gosh.
I know it's a tough one.
The Curlin is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah.
When Curlin won it, basically because that's when me and you really got hooked,
Mm-hmm.
is that day.
Yep.
And I knew a little bit about it. I think I'd been involved for 2 or 3 years trying to learn, and that was your very first race ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
First day you ever went,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, we saw one of the greatest horses ever
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
And it got us. And that's when I became an Asmussen fan. That's when I really became interested and started following a horse.
Right.
So that's, what was that? 07, I think.
Yep. 07. Yep.
That's my favorite. I've never had one like it. That's
Yep.
my favorite. What about you?
I would agree. 07 would be my favorite. I do have to say the American Pharaoh.
Well, you were into him so much.
Yeah. And so here's the deal. It's one of those things like 07 Curlin. I think that'll always be number one no matter what, because without that race, like you just described, none of this would, like, you guys wouldn't be knowing us, listening to us. We wouldn't have a website. None of it would have happened. Yeah.
Because what did we do? We pulled together what? This was big money for us. We pulled together what? $50 maybe?
Probably. Yeah.
Was it 50 or was it 25?
I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah.
But he was like 3 to 5, and I'll never forget the guy that was standing, because you and I didn't know much.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that a veteran that not a veteran, but a veteran of the racetrack.
Right. Yeah.
Remember him? And he's standing there beside us. He had an Ohio State sweatshirt on, I believe. He's an Ohio State fan, and Curlin was over on the back stretch, and he was kind of gooping around, wasn't running very well. And the guy goes, "No, just wait." Yeah. And remember, he had seen him. He goes, "This horse is a beast. He's a beast." He kept saying that.
I remember talking to him because he had like season tickets up in behind the glass, upstairs. So at Oaklawn, it's cold a lot of the time. So
it was cold
an open
that day.
grandstand. It's all glassed in.
Yeah.
And he came down, and it was freezing that day too.
Oh, it was awful.
He came down, and he's like, "I came down for one reason. I want to watch this horse eye level with him." He's like, "I'm telling you guys, this is an amazing horse."
Yeah.
And I remember driving down, and I'd never seen a past performance. I didn't know how to read it. So,
you didn't know anything. If you recall, Aaron, I want to tell this story because I don't know whether I ever have. At the time, I had a sporting goods store.
Yeah.
And Aaron's mom always went to the races with me.
Yeah.
But it was a Saturday, and it was freezing cold.
Yep.
And she didn't want to go.
Yep.
And I had to beg Aaron to go with me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to go.
The reason he went is because he didn't have to work on Saturday.
Yes. That's exactly. He's not wrong. No.
He did not want to go.
We had there was a couple that lived in the town we lived in at the time too. They came in on like a Thursday and said, "Yeah, we're going to go too." I was like, "Okay, well maybe I'll go down," and anyway, yeah. So exactly but I didn't want to go. And I don't know. Like I always tell the stories, like I was having a very good time at the races before the Arkansas Derby. Like about by the 4th or 5th race, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, we're so close to these people. I was like, this is neat, Yeah. And then when that horse did that, I was like, even me and like limited knowledge, but I know like athleticism when I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you're watching that all day. I was like, yeah, he's pretty. He's good at everything. And you watched him, and it's like, no, that was way different than anything I've seen. He just looked like a monster.
And at the time we didn't really know a whole lot, but
No.
that was the first horse that going into a Kentucky Derby. I had always watched the Kentucky Derby, but I didn't know anything about it. That's the first horse I felt a connection to.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Going into the Derby, and of course, it's been many, many, many others.
Yep.
That's not my favorite day at Oaklawn. My favorite was the Zenyatta race the second time.
Yeah.
That was my favorite all-time day.
Yep.
At Oaklawn. That's when I really became a solid fan of races, when Zenyatta was there.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great weekend. Line of David won the Arkansas Derby the next day.
We didn't even hardly care.
And then Super Saver, who got second that day, went on to win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
And I'll give you $50 if you know who finished third that day.
No, I do not. But I bet.
Oh, come on!
Oh,
you're
wait a
be
minute.
mad at yourself. I tell you.
Wait. It was Dublin.
It was. You got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Dublin was third that day.
The craziest horse ever.
Yeah, and he had every opportunity. He just would not pass those two horses. They kind of finished in a blanket there together.
He was a strange one.
Yep. It was
speaking,
good
of great, days that you and I had been there back in the good old days. I'll never forget this too. D. Wayne had another horse. It was coal black. I can't remember the name of it. Black something. Beautiful. Remember, we're watching that horse in the paddock.
Yeah. I can't think.
And we're thinking,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. This horse has got to win. He was
midnight something. Midnight.
Yeah. He was black.
Something. Yeah.
And he was so pretty, and he was huge.
Yeah.
And we were that's one thing we've learned over the years. We know what a good looking horse looks like. At that time, we were kind of infants. We didn't know for sure. And I remember he went over there and he never ran a lick. He wouldn't even come out of the gate.
No, he was awful.
He was terrible.
I want to say they paid like $700,000 for him.
Yeah, they paid a fortune for him.
I cannot remember. It was midnight something. I can't remember.
Anyway,
midnight could have been the second word or the first word. That's the sad thing about it. Like 10 years ago, I remembered all of them, and now it's like they all blend together. I can't remember them anymore.
You've seen a lot more than
I know
over the years. That's for sure.
All right. Well, let's talk about this year's Kentucky Derby, or excuse me, Arkansas Derby, and it's the Kentucky Derby for us, as you can tell. But we'll talk about it now. And familiar face, obviously, is Bob Baffert. We've seen him come in and win with American Pharoah, Bodemeister, horses like that before. Can he do it this year with a horse that's had only one start, Cornucopian? Here's the caveat. He has only one start, but it was the fastest 3-year-old maiden special weight at 6 furlongs ever in the history of Oaklawn Park. So obviously he's very good, but an established horse like Cole Battle is who he'll have to take down here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it may have been the fastest 6 furlong race ever. He ain't running 6 furlongs.
That's right.
There ain't no way in hell I'm betting that horse.
I like it.
I may be 50 times wrong. Won't be the first time, won't be the last time. There is no way a guy like me can bet a horse that's run one damn time at 6-5 at 6 furlongs when he's running 1 1/8.
Yep.
Can't do it. I can't.
I knew you wouldn't pick him when I saw it. Yeah.
I knew you did.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, or has Baffert lost a little mystique in the last year or two?
I don't know if mystique would be the right word, but I don't think his horses have been as good the last couple of years. No.
So if it wasn't Bob Baffert, would this horse be 7-5?
Well, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that's my logic. I'm probably wrong. Baffert has whipped my ass 1 million times down at Oaklawn.
Yeah.
It's not like I have anything, I hate to see shippers come in and win, but anyway, that's kind of what happens. So he may very well win, but he's not done enough for me. And I just can't get off the 8.
Yeah.
I just can't. The horse has done nothing wrong. And I think there's a bias against the trainer and the jockey.
Yeah.
And I think if that was a Baffert horse, he'd be 1-5.
I think it's crazy when these morning line odds came out. At least they're out. Gulfstreams is not. But anyway,
We'll talk about that in a minute.
we won't get into that just yet. Yeah, but when I saw this, I'm like, really? Cole Battle's a third choice. Like you put Sandman at 3-1 and Cole Battle at 7-2. It's just he doesn't get respect. And like you said, Cole Battle just wins, and it's just one of those things. It's like he's getting disrespected again.
And is it me? Isn't this field weak?
I think it's incredibly weak once you get past the 8 and the 9. I do think this 9 could be.
And maybe you give the 6 a little respect, but
here's the deal on the 6. I respect him, but you're going to have to show me a lot more before I bet him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He at least has done a little bit, but I mean, you got a freaking maiden in this at 6-1.
Oh, that people for whatever reason love Publisher. Every time I post a video and I don't pick Publisher, because why would I pick him in a stakes race when he hasn't been close? I get all kinds of messages. Why aren't you Publisher? Look out for Publisher. He's really, really good. Look at his trips are terrible. All this stuff. It's like to me, Publisher and Speed King. I mean, why? I mean, at this point, it's like they need to win a race before I'm going to pick them to win a race. Period.
I guess he's out American Pharaoh. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. And Shoddy, thank you. She doesn't understand it either. The Sandman love, I get it. Okay. Because
I don't love him, but
people, I'm saying like the people who love Sandman, I understand it because
he's done something.
Yeah. He's won some races and
he's done well in the Southwest. He ran okay in the Rebel.
Yeah, and you can, like, when you watch Sandman, you can see that he's got talent. It's just kind of an understanding of what I need to be doing is not there yet, right?
Right.
But Publisher, like, I don't. And again, like people always tell me, you're not looking at his races. It's like, no, I watch the races. Trust me, I watch the races. I just don't see it. I just haven't seen. If he was in the maiden special weight on this card, yeah, I mean, I see it, but like this horse just hasn't done enough to be supported unless you want to. Now, if you say, hey, I got 15-1 on him, I'm going to take a flyer. Oh, I get it. That's okay. But 6-1.
Yeah.
I mean, he can win. I don't care if he beats me at 6-1.
He does.
Yeah.
I'm an Asmussen fan. That would be great.
Yeah.
But I just don't. There's a reason he's put him in these big races.
Yeah.
Won't know what it is, but doesn't that bother you a little bit that he thinks this horse is good?
I think he's light on 3-year-olds this year. And I know people are going to go, he's 1-2 at Fairgrounds. But yeah, one got hurt that I think was going to be pretty good. The one last week, he's okay. But I think he's just trying to get horses to the Derby. And
I do too.
I think he looks at it and goes, look, he ran 4th on the Rebel, and maybe we can hit the board here, and maybe we can get this horse to the Derby,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So did you go ahead and take the 9?
I took the 9. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I took the 9. Here's the deal about Cornucopian. I think the fact that he's here really tells you a lot. And I think it tells you two things. Baffert thinks this horse is doing the best out of the ones that he's going to ship, which was him and Barnes and Rodriguez and Matticat Road. I think Baffert thinks he's doing the best.
I do too.
And he kind of has said from the start, we're gonna wait and see. We don't know. We're gonna take it easy with him. We'll see what he does. I don't really think the plan all along was to come back to Arkansas. I just think this horse is doing so well. They said we got to send him, and we think he can win it. So the other thing I look at with him, if he breaks well, I think he can outrun Speed King to the lead, and I think he's going to be on the lead loose, and then it's just a matter of can Cole Battle come get him. And I think the answer very well could be yes. I think you use him in Cole Battle and you just move on in this race. But if one of those two don't win, it could literally be anybody after that.
No, I could. I think so. Baffert sent this horse with Matticat Road for the Rebel, right?
Yes. Yeah. When he broke his maiden,
they do. Yeah. They rarely ship one horse. They ship 2 or 3 or 4
Correct.
when they ship them because you might as well ship a couple.
Yeah, sometimes it's an allowance horse, sometimes it's a stakes horse to run on the
Yeah.
undercard, and then sometimes it is a
Yeah,
maiden. Yeah.
it's just as cheap to ship two, I guess, as it is one. So
Yes. Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. He did ship him down there to get a race in.
Correct.
And probably in the back of his mind, he did think, hey, if this horse runs well, we'll just keep him there. He probably was thinking that.
Yeah.
And he did. So he thought, well, heck, let's just leave this horse here and let D. Wayne take care of it. I don't know if D.
Well, no,
Wayne.
he didn't leave him. He went back to Santa Anita.
Oh, he did go back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he left him there to train.
No.
Okay. All right. So he took him back. Anyway, he's doing so well. Here he is again.
Yeah.
And it does make sense. I mean, everything, if you followed the Arkansas Derby and you followed Baffert over the years, this is what he does. He does send his best horse normally to the Arkansas Derby.
Right.
And he's had great success. So it makes sense to bet him. I just can't yet. Now, he may prove me totally wrong.
Kind of the process with Baffert, he usually is the Santa Anita Derby and the Arkansas Derby are where his two best horses are going to go.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Citizen Bull's going to Santa Anita and this horse is going here, and you can kind of assume that's the two he's highest on right now. Yeah,
exactly.
He sent Matticat Road down to the Florida Derby. He's not done well there.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just now the odds. What do you think? Will they stay steady, or will he go down in the odds? Would he go to even money?
He might. Yeah, he might. I do think people will bet Cold Battle and Sandman, so that'll help. But yeah, I think he'll go down. I mean, I think even money is probably what you're looking at.
Yeah. And Cold Battle maybe go down to 5-2, maybe 3-1.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I think Cold Battle will be the second choice by the time the race goes
I
off.
do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who you got fourth?
Well, I put Best Friend Rocket in fourth.
I did too.
It's just kind of a, we'll see what happens a little bit here. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. It's like, or last week, I guess, is like when Lucas has one that you think doesn't have a chance, that's when they win. And then when he has one you think has a chance, they run like shit. And that's been the case. So now they come in here with this one, and like he's won 2 in a row, but his numbers aren't very impressive. But it's like, yeah, he'll probably run a big race, since I don't think he's going to be very good.
No. It's interesting that the horse has been claimed a couple of times too.
Yeah.
But it's a Perlin horse.
Well, he hasn't been claimed. They've just switched trainers.
Oh, that's right. They've just switched trainers, haven't they?
Yeah. Okay. That's all. I mean, it's okay. So it's Frank Fletcher owns the horse.
Okay.
And it was with Mott, and then they switched it to Russell because the 2 races with Mott were no good. So they switched to Russell to run at Laurel, and then it was like the races were so good at Laurel, they moved them back to a train. But I don't know why he didn't go back to Mott. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they got mad or something. I don't know. I don't know the story, but that's kind of what happened. When he debuted with Mott, he just didn't do any running, and so they kind of, quote unquote, gave up on him a little bit.
Yeah. And then then he took off at Laurel, and he did win an allowance at Oaklawn. So I think he could get fourth.
What about Speed King? What do you think?
God, he was just god awful.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get the lead, and that was kind of it. Like he didn't want any part of it. Do you just kind of send him and hope? Like
I think you do. I think I don't think any choice. You've got to throw him back in here and see what he does, because he had ran pretty well.
Yeah.
But he does have to get the lead. I've just kind of blown him off, haven't you?
Yeah, I still think there's something there with him. But now I couldn't back him in the spot, because the other thing is, it's like what he's going to have to do here. Now, look, if say Cornucopian doesn't break well, or say he's way overrated, there is a chance Speed King is loose on the lead, because those are the only real speed horses in the race.
That's true.
So that's kind of interesting, but I just kind of think that Cornucopian will beat him to the front. But we'll see on that one.
Best Friend Rocket may go out there too. He might.
He probably will.
The lead in almost since Russell got him. He's been
that's true about him. Yeah.
So you never know. You know how Dwayne, he does try to get out there sometimes. So,
Yeah, you're right. I think he could be one that goes out there.
yeah.
I don't know that he's quite as fast as those two. Speed King is a pretty fast horse up front. Like,
Oh yeah, he is.
he's got good speed. He showed really good speed 2 races back, 3 races back. I mean, he can definitely get out there and get to going. But, last time was pretty bad, but there was a lot of speed in that race. Here, there's
Yeah,
just
there was.
one, maybe 2 other horses. So he might have a little bit better setup. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
he will. Um, Cole Battle in one of the races got out there and just smoked him back in January, but normally he
Yeah.
comes off the pace. So
Right. Yeah.
he was impressive, I thought, in the Rebel.
Oh yeah, I thought he was super impressive in the Rebel, and he just passed Matticat Road like he was standing still, but Matticat Road had went very fast, so that's part of it. But still, he was really good.
Mhm.
I'm rooting for him. I hope he wins. I think it'd be
Well, it'd
really
be
cool. Yeah,
It would be cool.
I really think winning 4 races in a row like this and three Derby preps in a row, if he could do another one, that would really be amazing to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all on him too. I hope so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'd
For
be
sure.
fun to get a no name in there. A no name trainer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's going to be in it. It's just
Yeah, I
matter
know. With this under his belt, wow.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
have to say he's kind of one of the favorites, don't you think?
If he won this one, I think he's below 10-1 for the Derby. Yeah,
me too.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, hell, I may pick him if he wins this one again. Who knows?
That depends on how he looks and everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we just don't know. Because I
No.
said, if the 9 cornucopian isn't the real deal and isn't very good or is overwhelmed, all of a sudden Cole Battle really should beat this field. If cornucopian wasn't in the race and Bob Baffert didn't send one, and it's a field of 8, Cole Battle to me is like 6-5 to win the race.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah,
all right. Go ahead.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. All right, let's go. Okay, you're going to go number 8, Cole Battle. I'm going to go number 9, cornucopian.
All right.
Let's go to the Florida Derby. And no, it's not a misprint. The odds, that's right, the morning line odds on Thursday, almost afternoon here in Missouri. It is afternoon in Florida. The morning line odds for their biggest day of the year, they're not available yet.
That's ridiculous.
Explain that one to me, number 1. That's wild.
I don't know.
Okay. So you don't have a clue.
I knew they wouldn't be out by the time we needed to post our stuff for the Bible, the Betty Bible. I guess, is it available now? Is it out?
It should be out soon, very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to get our picks in. So I knew they wouldn't be ready. So I just went ahead and turned them in really early. And I assumed they would be ready this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the odds would be ready out this morning. And I looked and I about fell over when they weren't out. It's Thursday.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't know. What do you think's going on? I mean, I don't get it.
I
What are
have
they
no
waiting
idea.
on?
I have no idea. I've never seen anything like this. I have no clue.
16 horses entered, so they're waiting to see who scratches, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
usually
get it.
Wednesday. It's usually Wednesday.
Yes.
And sometimes Tuesday, but usually Wednesday when they come out. So
It's
I
crazy.
Don't know. It's crazy.
And it's darn hard to handicap when you don't know for sure what they are.
It's darn hard to put together bets when you don't, for people that are betting on the betting Bible, when you don't know exactly what the odds are going to be.
Well, like you said last time, it's hard to do the pick 3s and pick 4s.
That's the problem. Yeah. So while the betting Bible will probably be available here in a second, it might get updated a little because the morning line odds do matter when, if I'm trying to put together an exacta here, well, I may think a horse maybe 12-1 or 8-1, and the odds come out and they're 3-1 or 4-1. Like that happens sometimes, not that often, but sometimes.
Yeah.
And you don't know. And it's like, I don't want to put together something that makes no sense from a betting standpoint for people, So that's where I don't care to handicap without odds. I don't even look at them as far as who I'm picking to win or whatever, or even hit the board. But as far as okay, I got to put together a logical bet here with the horses that I like that makes sense. Yeah, that's a big problem if you don't have
It
them.
is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. All right. Hold on real quick. Rob says, I'm waiting for someone to adopt someone like Equinedge to use as ML odds. So like talking about computer system to do the odds. Rob, I think that's going on at mini tracks right now, actually. I'm not sure they have actual odds makers at a lot of tracks right now. Now, the big ones, yes, but I have a feeling they're using something like that. Just when I look at some of these smaller tracks around the country, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's talk about the race. Forget about the odds. Let's talk about the race. It's a field of 10. I think it's interesting, but I do think we have a standout with the number 10 Sovereignty.
That's who I went with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I just think the horse is just progressing very well. 2 straight good wins. Won the Fountain of Youth. The horse that finished second is not in this race. Should be able to progress up to a mile and an eighth. That's who I went with. The 10 Sovereignty for sure.
Yeah,
I don't really like anything else.
It was a few factors.
Yeah, I like one more.
Okay, who do you like?
I like the 4.
Oh, Disruptor. Yeah.
I like the 4. You're going to use the logic with Bafford. I think you have to use the logic with Disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
He broke his maiden and won by 9 1/4.
Mm-hmm.
You got a great trainer. You got a great jockey. So if you like the 9, I think you can like the 4 in this field.
I agree. I think
runner as a sire.
Yep, I agree. I think Disruptor's the up and comer. We talked about Bafford and kind of like he likes to do with his horses. I think Pletcher, you could sit here and say he's got 3 or 4. Well, he's got 3, let's say River Thames, Grande, and Disruptor. And I kind of felt like, well, the one he likes the best, I think will be right here in the Florida Derby. And I speculated that it would be Disruptor, and then here he is. So yeah. I'm with you. When Disruptor debuted in a maiden special weight on Pegasus Day, I got huge hyped on this horse. He's really, really good, is what they were telling me. And he did not do any running. They brought him back again on Fountain of Youth Day in a maiden special weight, and he looked like he was supposed to look on the first race. So I do really like the fact that he was heavily hyped. They like him, and he lived up to it finally. I'd say finally. Listen, it was a second start. First start, you just never know. No. Shit can happen. But he's a good horse, so I'm with you. I like the 4 as well. I like the 8 quite a bit. Matticat Road. I think he's an interesting horse. I don't think he needs the lead. I think he can sit off of it, but I think if they go slow, he can take the lead. But I don't think he's good enough. I just don't. I just don't like him enough to bet him to win. And all roads lead to number 10 Sovereignty for me. You know, the pace should be pretty hot. The 1 wants to go. I think the 4 will be up there. We talked about the 8. I think he'll be up there. The 6 has a little bit of speed. I just feel like it's going to set up perfect. I think going a mile and 1/8 is really and longer is what this horse wants to do. Second off the layoff, I think he'll run better. I just don't see any reason why he's not going to win unless there's just some bad racing luck here. So I really like the 10 Sovereignty quite a bit in this spot.
Well, and back to Matticat Road, we kind of touched on it a while ago. Bafford sent that horse to win the Rebel, and he did not.
Yeah.
Because what Bafford normally does, he wins the Rebel, or he feels good about the horse in the Rebel, and then he goes back to the Arkansas Derby. Yeah. He didn't do it this time.
Yeah.
That kind of tells you the horse isn't quite as good as he thought he was.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
That kind of sours me on him. But I think he's got enough talent maybe to win it. So you got to put him on your ticket. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Who knows what the odds are going to be, but
yeah. Well, I'll get to a couple of comments here that I want to get to. Amateur Alchemist said, is there any chance this is just used as a paid workout for Sovereignty? No, I think you'll see a pretty good effort. I think really they were using the last race as a paid workout. And really, if you heard the interview with Mott, he basically was like, this isn't his race today.
Yeah.
he didn't sit there and say, I don't think he has any chance to win. He said this isn't like the end all be all. This is a really nice stepping stone. We just hope he gets a good run. We're not worried about the result. I'm paraphrasing, but basically,
right.
It's different this time. I think he's geared up and ready. And look, I know like the thought process when it's a horse and he's already in the Derby and they're running their last prep. I think a lot of people's thoughts go to, it's the Derby. The Derby is what matters. He doesn't have to do anything here. And while that is true, you can't forget this is a grade 1 race, and that is very, very, very valuable to his breeding. And I mean, I think they'll be all out to win the race. Honestly, I don't see. Yeah, I don't see that as being a problem in this one. If it is, I'd be surprised.
It's $1 million race too.
Yeah, I mean, and to Godolphin, $1 million really doesn't matter, but
true.
They're breeders and they want that grade 1 win. That's and this is listen, this is a spot where really Sovereignty's sub even money to be a grade 1 winner. You got to get it, So I think he'll be ready to run a big race in this one, honestly.
Yeah, they'll have this one pointed for that. So
Yep.
Now, so you think he will be the odds-on favorite? I do.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty short. Yeah, in this one.
You think 7 to 5?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say 6 to 5, 7 to 5.
The interesting is what do you think the odds are going to be for the 4 for Disruptor?
Well, I think he'll be the second choice, won't he?
Either him or the Baffert horse.
Yeah, I would agree. The 9 Tappan Street maybe gets a little bit of attention too.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at that horse too. Don't like it as well. But yeah, I'd say those are the top 4 for sure.
Yeah.
And the 1 has done a little bit,
Yeah, probably like 8 to 1, 10 to 1 would be my guess is where he would go off if you want to try to take a shot at him. Yeah. All right. Well, we're both on the 10 Sovereignty. I think it's gonna be interesting. Well, one thing we should point out here. So there's been 2 jockey injuries this week at Gulfstream. So we're gonna have different jockeys. Tyler Gaffleone is now off the number 8 Matticat Road, and now Matticat Road will be ridden by Mike Smith. And then Junior Alvarado gets injured. He's off Sovereignty. Manny Franco will now ride Sovereignty. So I think with Sovereignty, it makes very little difference. I think Manny will do fine. I would rather have Tyler in this stage of his career than Mike Smith, though. But
yeah.
I don't really think either thing will factor in. Yeah, maybe crazy, but I don't think it's going to factor in. I really don't. So it's my opinion. All right. We're both on Sovereignty. All right, let's get to the basketball. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, like I mentioned, you're number 1 right now in the poll. By the way, it's tight though up at the top. There's a lot that still have a chance. So let's get to it. Let's get to this tonight, I should say. Tonight's games here. We'll start off BYU and Alabama. Alabama 5.5 point favorite in this one. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, this is one of the lower seeds. BYU is 6. Beat a good Wisconsin team.
They did.
That was 3. I think Alabama's been pretty impressive. They've done what they had to do. I've seen BYU play quite a bit. They don't play much defense. They don't. So you might. I was looking at the over. That's high. That's you're talking. You're up in 85 to 85 territory there. I think that's too high to bet that for a Sweet 16 game.
Yeah,
I like Alabama. I took them to cover. I think they're going to pull away late. I just think overall they're a little better than BYU, and if they play to their capability, I think they can cover that. I'm pretty solid on that one.
I do too. I think they're going to beat them pretty. I mean, I guess if you beat them by 6 or more, you could say they're going to beat them pretty easily. So yeah, I think they're going to beat them easily. I'm with you. I got Alabama in this one as well. Let's keep going. Maryland and Florida here. Florida 6.5 point favorite in this one. Boy, they got a scare. Now that was almost a little bit of a craziness that was happening.
I was sweating that one.
Yes. Now, like some teams that are number 1 seeds, they get a little scare and then they play better after that. What are you expecting out of Florida?
Yeah, I don't know if you watched that game. UConn was fabulous.
Yep, they were.
Game.
Yep. I thought they were
You
going
got
to
to
be.
ask yourself, why in the world did they not play like that a
Mhm.
lot of times? And, they were great. And I'm sitting there watching that because Florida was not playing bad.
Mm-mm.
And Florida could have choked really easy in that game because they took a shot to the mouth. They were down and out. Not
Mhm.
out, but they had to play great to win that game.
I thought they were in big trouble.
They were.
Yeah.
And they had to play great to win it. And that really impressed me. I don't like Maryland very well. I think I mean, they're good. I just don't think they're that good. I love Florida in this one at 6.5. Give me
Yeah.
Florida.
All right. I'm with
I'm
you as
like,
well.
I think they come out and be a little more. I didn't really feel like they were playing bad in that UConn game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, UConn looked really good. And I thought UConn looked shitty against Oklahoma.
Oh,
I
they were
didn't think.
terrible.
Yeah. I didn't think that. Like, I didn't watch them and go, okay, they're going to be dangerous or anything.
Yeah. If I'm Hurley, and I don't have anything against him, a lot of people do. I'm worried more about why my team is so up and down than why the referees screw me out of these games.
Right.
Bitching
Yeah.
about the officials, but I thought they gave a great account of themselves. UConn did because they weren't as good this year.
No, they weren't. Like I said,
They went down, man, with a fight.
Yeah.
They got after it.
Didn't you kind of feel like with UConn why I didn't really give that game much of a thought against Florida? Like I obviously watched the game with Oklahoma. I was kind of like, if Oklahoma was like either decent or like just played a little better, they would have won that game.
If they could have hit a shot, they would have.
Yeah, like they didn't play worth a damn. I didn't
They
think.
couldn't make anything.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No. So
I thought OU played great. Otherwise, they defended well.
Yes.
But when they score 59 points, you're not going to win very many games in the Sweet 16.
No, especially when you can't defend mostly.
Yeah.
Usually
it was one of their
game.
better defensive games, though.
It was. Yep.
Yeah. I'm with you. I thought Florida would kill UConn.
Yep, I did too. All right.
Yeah.
The very lopsided, at least from a spread standpoint, is Arizona and Duke in this one. Duke is -9.5 tonight. That's a lot of points to lay in a Sweet 16 game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this one? This is an interesting game for the points as far as the points are concerned.
Yeah, Duke has just been so methodical. They're good.
Yeah.
If something doesn't happen, and anything can, it's a one bad game and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
They look the best of anybody right now. Arizona's a little up and down. They've lost 12 games. They're playing good, but I like Duke to cover. I think they cover this. I just don't think Arizona's as good as they usually are. So I'm going to take Duke to cover.
Yep. I agree again. I'm not betting this game because I really don't want to lay the 9.5.
Yeah, but I don't think I made it a best bet, but I like Duke.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think I watched a lot of Arizona, Oregon, and I thought, that's kind of two average teams. Like they're not bad, but I don't
think Arizona can guard them.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think it's a mismatch. All right.
Yeah.
Last one, Arkansas and Texas Tech tonight, an old Southwest Conference rivalry there. We kind of date ourselves, but we remember. You certainly remember. I do remember it as well.
Yep.
All right. +5.5 for Arkansas. That's what I played. I'm just going to say it. I'm riding with the Hogs, but what are you going to do in this one?
Well, I think you have to. Now, I think some of it is, though, look, it's Texas Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of name? Just, you know what I mean? It's like, this is not a blue blood.
No.
I've seen them, though. They are damn good.
They are.
The bubble could get blown out of Arkansas's ass tonight. It could. But I'm the same way. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be afraid of them at all.
Mm-mm.
And they're playing really well. And when they shoot the ball well, they're hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. And these teams get on a roll and they get to believe in, and they've got talent. And they get to believing in themselves, and it's hard to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the 5.5. I don't have the guts to bet them straight up. I didn't make it a best bet either because I'm just not sure. Because they may come out and not shoot very well. And if they don't, they're in some trouble. So Wouldn't be surprised if they beat them.
I think it'd be a hell of a game. I'm looking for a knockout, drag out type of game.
Yeah, it
Just a
could be.
slugfest of a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if it gets that style, I think it favors Arkansas.
Yeah,
But
because Tech can score.
yeah, and I think Arkansas, I think they need to bring a physical style to this
Oh,
game.
they will, I think.
Yeah, I mean, tell you what,
They're pretty mean.
they only have 7 guys.
Yeah.
But they're all athletic guys.
Oh, they are.
And they're I mean, I think they're pretty darn good when they're on.
Yeah. It just shows you too, people go, well, God, they've lost 13 games. Well, there are 7 teams from their conference in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
That could be the reason they've lost some games.
Yep.
This conference is unbelievable. It's been so good. And
yep.
You got to, they weren't playing well early. They weren't shooting the ball very well. Now they've kind of gelled. And Calipari's done a really good job of handling them. He's been impressed with him. Never have really, I've followed him some, but as close as we are here to Arkansas, you see him a lot more than you did when he was at Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the way his demeanor is on the sidelines and things of that. He's stuck with them.
Damn right. This is one of the best coaching jobs he's ever done, in my opinion.
I've always thought he was a great coach
because everybody, even the damn Arkansas people, were turning on him.
Well, hell, what do you expect? I mean, people are so stupid.
I would agree. They started 0-5, and oh my God, this is his retirement job and all this stuff. It's like, guys, this guy knows how to coach. Let's play out.
A guy like him doesn't go anywhere to retire.
Right.
He's never. He's too big a competitor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had to replace an entire roster.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while for that to mesh. You got guys coming in there from everywhere. I'm sure he's a very demanding coach. He's old school. He's not giving them fist bumps and that kind of stuff. It's this way or the highway. And these guys are coming in from everywhere. And it takes a while to get all that to mesh. And now they finally has. They won some big games down the stretch, and they kind of come together, and they're dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Yep. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Even if they lose this game, it's a good first season for Calipari. It's a good start. But
at least he's not over there tearing his shirt off and throwing it up in the crowd like the idiot you had before him.
Yeah, who's sitting on his ass right now because like all little asshole coaches that go to USC, they don't fare too well once they get there for some reason, do they? It's weird.
Oh, really? I don't know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, who would I be referring to over on the football side of things? All right, let's keep going. Let's go to Friday. Ole Miss and Michigan State. I think this has a chance to be a good game. I did lean Michigan State in this game. I did lean a minus the 3.5. What do you think about this one, though?
Yeah, I like the point spread.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm a little surprised it's not a little bit more than that. So Vegas has shown a lot of respect to Mississippi and the SEC, and Mississippi's been really good in this tournament. They got a little bit of a break that they had a wounded Iowa State team as the 3 seed. So that helped them. But anyway, they've been very impressive. They killed North Carolina. Well, let's see. North Carolina got way behind, didn't they? And they couldn't catch up.
Yeah.
God, that seems like eons ago.
I know. It seems like 3 weeks ago they played that one. Yeah.
Sometimes I go to sleep at night, my head's going like this. My balls bounce so much on all the games I watch. I love the Spartans. I don't think they played particularly well yet.
Agree.
A lot of pressure to get to that Sweet 16. And sometimes those higher seeds, once they get there, then they relax a little bit and get after it. So I love this point spread. I hope it holds at 3.5 because I think they beat them.
Yep, I already bet that one, and I'm with you. I feel the same way about Florida. I just think, as I do Michigan State, and the fact that they got there, I think they'll play better now. I did not think they played good at all against New Mexico. I thought they looked terrible for a lot of that game.
Oh, I did too.
But they won, so
that's all that matters.
I think they. I don't think. Well, I'm not gonna go as far as say as I think they kill them. But if we look up and it's a 10-point game, I'm not gonna be shocked in this one. I respect Ole Miss, but I've seen them enough to know they're kind of. Them and Arkansas are pretty similar. I think
They are.
They're tough, and they're going to play you tough, and they're well coached. I think the difference is like I would much rather play Tech than I would want to play Michigan State.
Oh, no question.
And that's why it's like, because you might hear me say that and go, well, why are you thinking Arkansas plus 5.5? I just think the opponent makes more sense for Arkansas. This is a tough draw, in my opinion.
It is. Yeah. It is.
So, all right, let's keep going. This is the one where I have no idea what's going to happen. Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky's been very good against good teams. They've been very good against Tennessee this year as well. Tennessee is a 4.5-point favorite here. Of course, they are the higher seed. They're highly thought of compared to Kentucky, but this feels like a very weird game to me. What do you think about this one?
Well, that's all tempo.
Yeah.
It's a tempo game. Kentucky doesn't play much defense. They like to get out and shoot it. Tennessee's the opposite. So can Tennessee slow them down? Are they good enough to slow them down? Can they do it?
Yeah.
If they do, I think they beat them. Tennessee's been very impressive. And it's, they're good. They're really good.
Yeah.
Hard for me to pick them at 4.5. It's a little bit too much for me as I'm sitting here right now thinking about it. Again, though, it's a tempo game. And it's who gets the tempo. If it gets in a higher scoring game, which look at the points, 144. I'm not expecting a high scoring game. If it gets into that, Kentucky's going to win because I don't think Tennessee's got enough firepower to score that many points.
Yep, I'm with you. Yeah. I didn't take a side. I don't know what to do. I could see everything. So or anything happening. So I kind of just shrugged my shoulder and said I'm not going to touch this one. It when you get to playing these teams multiple times and they're pretty even anyway. It's a real coin flip. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going. Michigan and Auburn next here. Auburn 9.5-point favorite. That's the same spread as Duke here. So back in their game on Thursday. What do you think? Auburn, Michigan. Michigan got a big win over an SEC school in the round of 32. Can they do it again here against Auburn?
I'm not very confident in this point spread. I'm going Michigan plus 9.5. I think they might beat them. In fact, I've got them. This is my first number one to go out.
Really? You've got Michigan?
I do. And This is where my bracket will go to hell. But I've only got them winning this one. I don't have them winning the next one. So I just don't like this Auburn team. I don't like a bunch of jerks in the tournament. And I haven't watched them a whole lot. I was watching a little segment there. I can't even remember who they play. Who'd they play in the second round here? Let me look real quick.
Who are you talking about? Auburn?
Oh, yeah, they played Creighton.
Yeah, Creighton.
It was close, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like 5 minutes to go, and they made a shot. I think they got up by maybe 5 or 6, and they all are out around half court, looking up in the crowd, making gestures, things like that. Those teams get beat. They just do. And I just think they're going to go sooner or later. Maybe it's not this one. Michigan's playing good.
Yeah.
They got talent.
All right.
And they're hard-nosed. I'm definitely taking them plus 9.5. I don't have the guts to bet them to beat them, but I think they're going to go down.
Man, that's crazy. I think Auburn will win the game. I don't want to touch it, though. I think the line's too much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Auburn's not been playing very well. They just haven't.
Yeah, but Michigan, I don't know. They're not very good.
They're coming in hot.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't trust it. I think Auburn beats them. I really do. But we'll see. That's why they play the games, right? We got to have an upset eventually.
Hey, we got to have one somewhere.
Yeah.
Our number one's got to go out.
Well, on that note, you've got maybe Auburn going out. What about Houston here? They take on Purdue. Houston's an 8.5-point favorite. I think this is a good matchup for, Houston. I think this is a good draw for Houston. What do you think?
Yeah, these are the kind of teams they want to play.
I agree.
I don't think, Rob. I think Purdue's solid.
Oh, he's going to be at the game, Rob is. That's cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
better believe it. Where's this? Oh, it's in Indy.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait a minute. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's a home game.
Yep.
That's a whole. Well, I wasn't going to pick Houston in the points anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's too many.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Is
I
Houston not the most unlucky?
I know.
Last year they lose their best player, and they're playing Duke when he
Yeah.
gets hurt.
Yeah.
And now they got to beat Purdue at home. But I don't think Purdue's they're not as good. I'm a
No.
little surprised they got here, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they won 2 games. They've been impressive. I'm taking them plus the points now, especially since I noticed it's an Indy. I haven't really looked at Friday's games till just now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're good enough to beat Houston.
Yeah.
If Houston plays.
Yep. Yeah.
This Houston team seems to me like they can score a little bit better. You might take the over in this game.
Yeah, over 132 and a half. Yeah.
That's not very many.
No, it's really not. I mean, if you could get one team to get into the 70s, you should be in decent shape there. Yeah. Yeah.
I think this will be a good game, though. I'm a Cougars fan, and
Yep.
I know several people, not several, but I've heard some of the pundits saying they sure would like to see Sampson get a national title because he's starting to finally get the credit I think that he deserves. He's one of the best college coaches ever.
Yeah.
This run at Houston has been unreal since he got down there.
But you need a national title before you get in that conversation.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
He needs one.
Yeah.
And I think if he could get one, it would cement his legacy because they put a graphic up the other day. He's won more games than anybody in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Houston is. And then they also were talking the other day how, Houston had really dropped. Back in the 80s and 90s, they were right there. And then they went through a spell where they had really dropped until he got down there and totally turned it around. My God, they win 30 every year now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been awesome.
A lot of people said, when they went from the American Conference to the Big 12, well, that was going to be tougher. Well, I think they've won it 2 years in a row.
I know. Yeah.
So
yeah. They haven't had any problems. No. Man, I just think they match up really well with Purdue. I know Tennessee and Kentucky. I know both of them are very good.
Yes, they are.
I think that the more I think about it, and I have Tennessee winning this region. I want to be clear on that. The more I think about it, I think Houston might get out of it. Like, I just do. I don't know. I just feel like it's setting up to where they're going to get out of this region. But we'll have to see. That'll be a tough game. Both these games will be tough.
Oh,
that next one's going to be tough too. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one, what? Florida?
Yeah. It's no, they're in.
Oh, wait a minute. They go. It's Duke.
Duke. Yeah. So no. Yeah. Look, but when you get to the Final Four, you're not going to get an easy draw.
No, but you don't want to play Duke.
Well, no, you're right.
That's the problem.
You're right. Yep.
You don't want to play Duke. I don't care.
Correct.
If they're 15 and 15, you don't want to play Duke. So,
no.
Yeah, I mean, but and let's face it, Duke's look better than anybody.
They really look good. Yeah.
And the other thing about them, they haven't had to expend a lot of energy through the regular season. I've said this over and over. They've been dominant in their conference. They haven't had those knockdown dragouts some of these other teams have that really just wears you down.
Yep. So, they're going to be awfully tough to beat.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. It's setting up for a great week of basketball, and then next week.
Well, this weekend is just crazy because you got all this. We got a hockey team that's in the thick of it. We've got opening day of baseball, which I almost forgot because we've got so much other stuff going on.
I did too.
We got all the bracing going on. I mean, it's crazy this week. This week.
And we got a little bit of interest in the women's tournament with
you got that as well.
Unfortunately, they have to play UConn, so that's real fun.
I know, a bad draw.
Well, in the women's game, it's so much different than the men's. It's so top heavy.
Yeah.
And you got Texas.
Yep.
They're nails.
Yep.
South Carolina.
Yep.
UCLA. All of those teams are so good. And you throw UConn, which I think is a 2 seed.
Yeah. No, they are. Yeah.
Who's the other
I can't
one?
remember. I haven't followed it quite as much, just
Is
other than the OU
is
game.
USC a 1?
Yeah, that's right. They're the one, but they got their star
They
player
got their girl
hurt.
hurt. Yeah.
So that opens the door for,
whoever's in there. Yeah.
theoretically Oklahoma or UConn. Yeah.
Yeah. But
probably UConn.
OU's a solid team. They're
Yeah.
a Sweet 16 team.
Yeah.
It's really exciting if you're a fan of girls basketball.
Yeah.
At OU, this girl's coming in, and our studs are still going to be there next year.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be fun.
They're going to be a top 5 team preseason, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Year.
Yeah.
It's
going to be a fun year.
A great coach. The environment is starting to change a little bit. They had 8,000 or 9,000 in there for that regional this weekend. A game was played at 3:00 on Monday afternoon. They drew like 8,000 or 9,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Yeah. No, that used to be a big deal down there, and they just kind of fell off. But yeah, it's back now, and like I said, getting the best player in the country coming in next year is going to be good for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, let's get to this.
We got to address this. So the Blues. We don't listen. We don't care about the East. We don't care about the top 7 here. Well, the top 6, I'll say, in the West. We care about these wild card spots, right? Here's the deal. The Blues are 3 points ahead, but they've got games in hand. Like the other teams have games in hand. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's not good.
And the other teams win every night. Yeah, the other teams win every night, too. That's another problem. So
I know. And the team that's worried me all along is Calgary.
I know. And they keep winning.
So when you look at hockey's so weird. The Blues have played 3 more games than Calgary. And we have a 4-point lead on Calgary, which I look at it as Calgary's 2 points ahead of us because you got to kind of look at they're going to win all those games.
Yeah.
Tonight is so big.
Yep.
Dallas has got to help us out and beat them tonight.
And here's the problem. Dallas played in Edmonton last night and played fantastic. And I guarantee you they'll play like shit tonight. Yes. The backup goalie will be in.
They'll play the backup goalie. What have they got left? Yep. What is Dallas playing for anyway? They're solidly, second or third?
Yeah. They can't really. I mean, they could catch Winnipeg, but probably not. No.
And the other team behind them is 5 points behind. This is a letdown game for them.
Yep.
They're not going to bring it tonight.
Now, the team that we're forgetting is this team right here, right ahead of us.
Yeah, they could catch them.
They're not any good, and they have a ton of injuries. We could catch them, and it could be us in Calgary in this thing because the Blues are just 2 points behind them, and there's only one game difference.
Yeah. So that's who we ought to look. That's who.
And so I'm
going to
pull
their schedule.
Pull up the Minnesota schedule now, and I'm going to try to talk you into it. Say Capitals, okay, best team in the league as far as points go. A back-to-back with New Jersey. Maybe they split, maybe they don't. Then they are at New York. Then they're at New York, the Islanders and the Rangers back-to-back. Dallas, they've got to play again. San Jose, easy game. Then they finish at Calgary, at Vancouver, Anaheim. They're at home. That's a tough schedule for a banged-up team that's losing a lot of games.
So that's 10 games.
I
could see
they may only get 10 points in those 10 games.
Yes.
And if that's the case, I'll go back to the standings now. If that's the case, that would put them, when it loads, that would put them at 95. I think the Blues can get to 95.
Yeah, which I think is the magic number normally. Yes. Is 95, and you're in.
Yes.
The schedule that I want to see is Calgary.
Calgary has a tough schedule. Let's pull it up now. Calgary. Okay, here we go. Dallas, at Edmonton, at Colorado. It lessens up at Utah. They're not great, but that'll still be a tough game. Anaheim.
That'll be tough coming off Dallas, Edmonton, and Colorado.
Exactly.
And that Utah's a back-to-back.
Yes. Tough. Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But San Jose and Anaheim, Minnesota, those teams aren't so great. San Jose. So it softens a little bit. Look at the ending, Vegas and then at LA.
If they play their players.
Right. So there's potential for them to not excel either over these last 10.
We need a win tonight, Dallas. Come on.
Yeah, please, come on.
I hate Dallas, but I'm rooting my ass off of them.
And then you got the Canucks. I'll go through theirs real quick.
They're a solid team. We kind of forget them.
Yeah, they've been disappointing, but, they've still got a chance. So at Columbus, they're not bad. At Winnipeg, Seattle's not good. Anaheim's not good. You have to play Vegas, at Dallas, at Colorado. The Minnesota, San Jose are not that good, and then Vegas at the end. So it's a little more favorable, but we've got the upper hand on them right now. So we could, if they gain a point or two, it's not a big deal.
I was hoping the Islanders would come through last night, but they didn't.
I never, and I know every night it's like, these teams, come on, beat them, and they just don't. So anyway,
yeah,
all right.
You see the Blues all the time. What's happened? They suddenly can score points.
They've bought into the system that he wants them to play. They're locked in, like they're playing perfect. And those young guys are starting to score. Bolduc's starting to score. Holloway,
the future suddenly looks good.
Well, they've got good guys in the system too, whether they're in college still or in the minor league system. So I think they're in real good shape. I don't know if they'll make it this year, but I think they're a team that's on the rise. So
yes, definitely.
Yep. And listen, the offer sheets that made the difference. Broberg and Holloway have made a huge difference. And when they got them, and it took them a while, but they're playing like superstars. That Broberg, the goal he scored in overtime 2 nights ago when they beat Vancouver, it's a big time goal. So
big time win because they blew that game.
Yep.
They blew it.
I'm so nervous because getting into the playoffs this year would be a big step in my opinion.
It would.
And what you got to remember too is they've got the coach Montgomery locked up 5 years. So they've got it all in place.
They do. They're on their way back.
First step, get the momentum going. So
I don't know if they make it this year. It's kind of a long shot, really. When you're realistic, it's kind of a long shot.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about the Cardinals?
Well, it is opening day, but they're going to be.
But come on, they're not good.
Hey, if you want to go watch Major League Baseball this summer, I bet you get tickets behind the dugout for $5 because they're going to be awful.
I think they're terrible.
They're going to be terrible.
Yeah. Sometimes that's when they play better. But anyway,
yeah,
it is a long shot for the Blues to make it.
Well, I don't think it's a long shot.
Well,
I think it was a long shot 3 weeks ago. I think now
the pressure to win every night is so on you. Like it's not going to be easy tonight.
Yeah.
Doesn't that game scare you? It does me.
Every game scares me. Every
game.
Yep.
When you got 3 games at hand on Calgary, and you're going to have 3 games at hand on them after tonight too, that you have to win every game.
Yep.
I was listening to the radio guys the other night, and they're real realistic, and they're hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not homers. And they made a good point. They go, even though you got those games at hand, when you keep posting victories,
yes, yeah,
the pressure mounts on the other team. They got to win.
Because they look up at the standings and go, well, we have to win. Versus if they're tied with you, it's like, well, if we lose, we're still tied or whatever. Yeah.
It makes a difference who's ahead. That makes a big difference.
Yes.
And, the Blues probably will start before Calgary does tonight, I would think, probably an hour before.
Yeah.
If they can post a win, that win will be posted by the end of the second period in Calgary.
Yes.
And say Dallas it's tied, it's 2-2 or whatever, going into that third period, the pressure on Calgary mounts. Because a Blues win would put them 6 up over Calgary. Anyway, what's the Blues? Put their schedule up real quick. I'm sure people don't care, but anyway.
I forgot to put them up. Hold on here. Let's see. It gets harder. It gets harder.
It's been fairly easy here lately. But
Yes. So at Nashville, obviously, they have to win tonight
they have
because
to
they go to Colorado the next, on
probably
Saturday.
lose that one.
They do host Detroit. Now,
They got to beat them. They got to beat Pittsburgh.
they have to beat Pittsburgh. This Detroit game's it's going to be tough because they're battling for a spot too, but they got to beat them.
But they're not very good.
Colorado at home. Who knows there? This is the key. At Winnipeg, at Edmonton, you need to be in a good spot when you go on the road here for these two games because the last two at Seattle and against Utah, you can make up a little ground if you need to, but you got to be in a good spot for these two road games because those are not
Colorado games. You got to split.
Yeah. If you could win this one, lose Colorado, that's 1-1, beat Detroit 2, Pittsburgh be 3. If you beat Colorado 4, you could probably lose these two games, be 4-3, and then win these last two right here. And you probably get in with 6 out of 9 wins to end the season.
That'll give you 95.
And I think that's going to get you in, but you cannot slip up tonight. You can't lose a game against Pittsburgh. You cannot lose to Seattle or Utah.
Those games
they're now games you have to win. Yeah.
Detroit and Pittsburgh are at home.
You have to beat them.
You have to beat them if you're going to make it.
Detroit is one of those teams that can beat you, but
very dangerous.
But you've got to win that game.
I'm thinking Winnipeg, that they're kind of coasting.
I'm not scared of Winnipeg.
They've got first locked up pretty much.
Yeah.
They'll just collapse not to finish first.
Yeah.
So they could be kind of lackadaisical.
Agree.
And if the Blues play like they're playing, they can beat Edmonton. Edmonton is not that good. They're dangerous, but they're not. They're not exactly blowing people away.
Well, but again, when you read off at Colorado, at Winnipeg, at Edmonton, those are games the Blues are probably not ready to go win yet.
No.
Not saying it's impossible, just saying they're not as good as those teams in my estimation.
No.
The other ones you can beat.
Yeah. We need those teams behind us to start losing.
Yeah.
Because we have been on an incredible run.
Yeah.
And the thing that scares you sometimes, you make those runs like that, and then somebody beats you. Yeah. And then you might lose the next one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly you don't feel as good about yourself as you did.
Yep. I agree.
But the fact that we're even talking about them with a chance.
They were done. They were done.
Played early in the season. It was just horrendous.
Well, even after they hired Montgomery, they had a little kind of where they're playing well, and then they went on a slump right before the Four Nations. They were done, and this team has been incredible since the Four Nations.
They have. They've won games they have to win. That Montreal game scared me Tuesday night. They just drilled them.
They played awesome in that game. They couldn't have played any better.
Yeah,
so.
They did.
All right, well,
it's gonna be good.
The nerve wracking continues.
Yeah,
I think they're going to go out and win tonight. And I do have, I'm like Mark just said, I've got confidence right now that they'll go win this game tonight. But I also watch the NHL every night. It's tough to win no matter who you're playing. So if they go out to Nashville and they don't play well, they will get beat tonight.
They will.
So got to play.
They're dangerous.
Well, they're dangerous from the standpoint of they don't have anything to lose. It doesn't matter. They've had a terrible season. If you don't play well,
the motivation's not very high. And they were talking on the radio the other night. The crowd was not good. So it was the quietest it's been in that building.
Yeah,
they can remember because there's not much excitement about the hockey team in Nashville.
Right. Yeah. We just got to go win. We got to win this game.
You have to. There's no excuses.
Yep.
There's none.
Okay. You got anything else before we get off here?
I do not.
Okay. Easy enough.
I made a wise decision.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I don't do that very often. I had a substitute job today.
Okay.
The alternative school.
Ooh. Okay.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
Because they're all on computers, but it is the boringest. I just decided I told them yes when they asked me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I got a bad assignment tomorrow and I'm dreading it. Anyway, so I said yes. And then I got home and I thought, you know what? The weather's supposed to be really nice tomorrow. And I taught Tuesday. I did Wednesday. I got a bad draw tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I'm just not going to go. I don't want to sit there bored out of my mind. And I'm in another building. I'm not even in the school.
Yeah.
The alternative school's a block away. So, man, I'm glad. I'm glad I'm not over there today. So I made the right decision this time.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yep. I just did not want to sit. They're not much trouble. They get a little antsy in the afternoons because they've sat there
Yeah, right.
and bored. They're ready. Especially I just thought to myself, the weather with the way it is, they're gonna be out and they're gonna want out of here tomorrow. It's gonna be hell in the afternoon. So I made a good decision.
All right. So you talking about something going on local. I wanted to end with this actually. It made me think of it. If you haven't watched it yet, and I don't know if you have yet.
I did. You're talking about the tornado?
You watched the doc.
Yes.
What did you think? Okay. First of all, before you I want your thoughts. Everybody out there, go watch the Joplin tornado documentary on Netflix. Everybody's talking about it, and it is fantastic, in my opinion. What about your opinion? What did you think of it?
If you want to see what the flavor of Joplin is,
yes, that was the number one thing. We
can't really say without giving it away.
Before you go on, that was what I loved about it the most. Joplin you wouldn't think it. It's a very diverse-ish place.
Very diverse.
And they caught every aspect of where we live.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there like, this is where we live. Like they did it.
Now I've heard some people griping about it.
Why?
Because of that. They think it made us look bad.
No. These people
I tell everybody it didn't make you look bad because that's who you are.
I was going to say, these people don't have any self-realization of what this place is. And
First of all,
it is a
great place to live.
It's a great place to live. And
it is. It's a really good place.
Listen, I thought it did an unbelievable job of showing how prideful people that live here are. I thought it was fantastic. I was proud to be from Joplin after this thing.
Oh, I gained all kinds of respect for Joplin after this happened and the way they rallied. And
yeah, I mean, people complaining about it are stupid. I mean, this was great.
You just don't understand the devastation this was unless you saw it firsthand. It was 168 or 9 people died because it came on all of a sudden, and it kind of also said in there, people before this kind of ignored the tornado warnings because it happens so often over here that this one couple were sitting in a diner and they weren't from Joplin. I'm not going to give away the story on why they were in Joplin because that was fascinating too.
That was totally fascinating. I never heard that before, by the way, but
no. Yeah, right. And anyway, so they'd just flown in to Joplin and they were going to their hotel and they went to eat somewhere when the sirens started going off. And they didn't know what was, they weren't from here. So they were thinking, well, should we go get sheltered? And people are sitting in the restaurant said, oh no, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Just ignore that.
Yeah.
Which has,
that happens all the time here. Yeah.
It does. And
not as much now, but it did. Yeah.
No. And I didn't realize that the weatherman that's here, that's everybody kind of follows even today, I didn't realize he was around in 2011.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. I didn't know that.
Well, that was 14 years ago, which is unbelievable when you think about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I noticed about it is how crummy looking that area looked when that was destroyed and how beautiful it is today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joplin has rebuilt. The area that got hit wasn't one of our finest areas.
No.
And it's rebuilt now and it's really improved.
It's great. Yeah.
The city has rallied around it. I think we're more together here than we ever. I mean, it's hard for me to say. I've only lived here a couple of years, but I like it here. The people are very friendly, and seems to me like they have more of a togetherness here than they.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Than they did.
We got here in 2015, which that would have been how many years after the tornado? 2? When did it come through? 4. That's right, 2011. I felt it right away. It's like, man, that people are just super friendly and happy you're here type of thing. It was great. I loved it. And if you want to know what it's like to be in a tornado, how could it be any better shown than that?
Oh man, and the descriptions of these people who were in it.
Oh my God. And like so I'm not giving anything away, but one group of people that they focus on, they left their camera on their phone on the whole time because they understood. They were kind of like semi storm chasers. They're unprofessional.
They were unprofessional storm chasers.
Yes, but they admit
they were thrill seekers, is what they were.
Thrill seekers, exactly. But they understood that, man, this is significant. They've been seeing long enough to know, no, this is going to be bad. So you understand, like, you are seeing footage of what these people were seeing when the tornado was hitting. I'm telling you, it's incredible. I've never seen a documentary this good on tornadoes, storms, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I've never seen documentaries better. I'm saying for what the subject was, it's the best one I've ever seen.
And I love the kid that was graduating.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't want to go to graduation because he's hell.
Yeah.
I thought this will be terrible. I don't want to go to this. And then,
yeah,
of course, during the high school graduations, with a tornado hit, close to that time anyway. And then how he realized, he had to go help. Him and his father went out and started helping people, and they lost one of their classmates that was so popular. They couldn't find him, and finally, what was it? 2 or 3 days later, they found him in a creek or something. I don't know. Where it was.
Yep. It was, and that was happening.
Those guys that were the thrill seekers, they were hilarious.
Oh, I thought everybody was hilarious.
And the guy that was working in the yogurt shop, which that's no longer here.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is, if it is.
Well, no.
It must have closed down.
Yeah, I think they closed after it. Yeah. Because, I mean, it was torn apart. And they didn't rebuild it. And that happened in a lot of places. Didn't rebuild.
Yeah.
All right.
If you came here now and you didn't know that it had happened, if somebody tells you where it happens, you can tell because there aren't any trees.
Right.
They're small because they've replanted.
Right.
And then when you get to looking where the trees are, you can tell exactly where the tornado went.
Yeah.
But it's all been rebuilt and it looks great.
So there was one, well, I don't want to keep talking about it because I don't want to ruin it for people, but that haven't seen it yet. So just go watch it. Go watch it. Yeah, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's only like an hour and 30 minutes long. It's not a long watch. So yeah. All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got to get off here. I got to get going. Blinkers Off is going to be today, coming up here at 2:00 Central Time. So we'll have Blinkers Off. And yeah, that's what we got. I have not heard about Magic Mike. I don't know if Magic's. Let's see if anything's scheduled here before I say it. I don't know if he's on the air today or not. It's not scheduled yet. That doesn't mean it's not going to be. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, with Magic Mike, we always kind of have to work around Magic's schedule because, hey, he's on FanDuel Racing, and when they call him, he's going to work. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see.
Can I mention one more thing about the tornado?
Yeah.
Just real quick that people don't realize, and I'll never forget this. If you'll remember, me and you came over to volunteer to help.
Yep.
And they put us in a church, and it was kind of a rescue center. And by the way, our government was absolutely fantastic with this whole thing. You talk about an organized, I've never been more impressed with how organized this mess was over here. A rescue.
Yep.
We were over here, 2 days after it happened.
Yeah.
And people were still just in shock.
Yeah.
With the supplies that were being sent in and everything was just incredible. There was just help from everywhere, volunteers from everywhere. And it was so organized.
It was. Yeah.
So I can't remember how we ended up where we ended up, but I guess we just heard about it. And we went to this rescue center. It was a church. And it was a supply place where these families could come and get stuff they needed because they had nothing.
Yeah.
So Aaron and I, you would just take a family through, and here would be your toiletries. Here would be food, whatever you needed. They had it all. It was like a store.
Yeah.
It was like a miniature Walmart. And what impressed me the most was the clothing. They had it was kind of in a gym, if I remember right, kind of, sort of. Yeah. And it was all separated by sizes.
Yeah.
men's, women's, kids. Somebody had gone, and when a certain size would be out, they would they had stuff in it. People had donated clothes and things.
Yeah.
And these families were just shell shocked. They were just shell shocked. And they told us when they went through there, have them take whatever they need.
Yep.
And the family I had, they'd just take one tube of toothpaste.
Yeah.
And we would go, you could take 3 or 4. Oh, we want to save that for other people.
Right. Yeah.
No, if you need 2 or 3 or 4, do it.
Yeah.
And remember that group that you had, she was in there shopping for like 3 or 4 families, I think.
Yeah.
And when she got done, she said, I don't know how I'm going to get this home. I don't have a car.
Right. Yeah.
It won't fit in the car. Well, we had pickup. Remember you took her home?
Yep.
And she got out in her neighborhood. And what'd she say? Remember what she said?
Yeah, she said, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where to tell you to
where I'm at because all the trees are gone.
Yep. And all the road signs are gone. And it basically just looked like a grid of roads. Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't tell what landmark. There were no landmarks that you used to get home.
Right. Yeah.
And she was embarrassed because she couldn't. That's how bad it was. And they mentioned that in the documentary too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
I want to shout out our family, Lindsay, Madison, Kevin, and Betty Ann at the ball game today, opening day. They just sent me a picture. Lindsay did from the seat they're sitting at opening day in St. Louis, and there they are. So they're there.
Like it's a little rainy.
It looks rainy for sure. I think it is supposed to rain. Every time they go, it rains. So
no, wait a minute. What about our college student? Is she just skipping?
Yes.
Just blew off school.
This is why I love her. So, so they got two daughters.
No guilt whatsoever.
They got 2 daughters, right? And one would never miss school, no matter what.
No.
And then you got Madison, and anytime I'm like, "Hey, Madison, you want to do this or that?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, you might miss school." He's like, "I don't care," And so this one was like, her spring break was last week, right? And so I said, "How are you going to St. Louis?" They went to the Blues game Tuesday night, and they're going to go to opening day today. I said, "How are you doing this?" And she's like, "Why don't I care? I'm not going to school. No big deal." All right, sounds good, Madison. See you next week. So so yeah,
that's what you want. And then their father's blowing off work too.
Well, he's about to
he takes a vacation.
Yeah, I don't think
he's about to retire.
Lord says, quick question. Odds are live in the UK. Is cornucopian value at 5 to 4? He's probably valuing the fact that he will be lower than that here in the United States.
Yeah.
And then sovereignty at 11 to 8. Let's see. I would say he'll be about even money. So I think that's value in terms of what you're going to get here versus what you can get if you bet him right now there. I think both of them, yes, you would want to take. I like sovereignty's price a little bit better because he's a little bit more established. I've got a little bit more confidence in him. So I would take that 11 to 8. I don't know. It's going to be a judgment case there. I probably would not bet at that odds to win with cornucopian. But if you think he's the real deal, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, you really like him.
You're gonna have to make that decision on that one. I'm kind of, I don't know if I'd just do it just yet on him, but sovereignty, I would go ahead and place that bet because I think he's going to be lower, and I'm confident he's going to win. So
yeah, he's the better choice.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yep,
because he's done more. That's the only reason I say that.
Agree. I agree with that as well. Hopefully that helps. All right, we got to get out of here. We got to get going.
Stuff to do.
Yep, we got stuff to do. Got a meeting coming up. All right, so we'll be back. Like I said, we'll be back in a couple hours. And if you missed it last week, the debut of VSiN at the track will be coming up on Friday as well, and then back on the actual VSiN channel Saturday morning if you've got that. So that'll be me and Patrick Maher this week. Mike Somich is in Costa Rica, so he will not be live with us, but it'll be me and Patrick. So it'll be a good show this week. We got Patrick, so that'll be awesome. So yeah, make sure to check that out as well. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and everybody have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week for more Dudes Who Bet Sports.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports.